Hi everyone, thank you for joining Protein Tech and Chromotech's tiny technical talk on how to save hours on your immunoprecipitation. I'm Dr. William Olds, Scientific Officer at Protein Tech Group. So as you know, there's so much to do. There's grants to do, there's manuscripts to figure out, and you just don't have time for your experiments. And IPs particularly can take a long time, from cell lysate all the way through targeted antibody incubation, which can last 1 to 12 hours, to protein A and G bead incubation, which can also take 1 to 12 hours, all the way through washing and gel analysis of protein. IPs can take more than 3 hours and up to a few days. So let's shorten that to 2 hours. So using nanotraps, which have been developed by Chromotech and Protein Tech, this process can take less than 2 hours. Cell lysis to nanotrap incubation, which is using a nanobody already pre-conjugated to a bead. This incubation can be less than 1 hour. And then from there, all you have to do is wash it and elute it, and you can analyze your protein. All in all, this can take less than 2 hours, so less than your typical movie at this point. So what are nanobodies? So nanobodies are the binding domains of heavy chain antibodies. So a traditional antibody, seen here as depicted in the mouse, consists of 2 chains, a light chain and a heavy chain. However, in alpaca, there are single chain antibodies, and you can clone out the VHH, which is the binding domain of nanobodies that actually bind to the protein of interest, and you can conjugate those to beads to make what's called a nano-trap. So nanobodies are quite high affinity. So as you can see in this gel here, during this incubation with this antibody, this band goes away, and it becomes very, very concentrated in what you've actually eluted from the nanobody. And so we've determined that KD of this antibody is 1 picomolar. That is just about the limit of how strong an antibody can be. And so what this means is that these results can be ready in less than 1 hour. So one of the ways that the nanotraps can save you time is that they're pre-conjugated, and helping in your analysis, they have no heavy chain and light chains to take out in your Western blot. So these are already coupled to the bead, so you don't have to worry about doing an incubation like you would with the beads, like you would for a conventional antibody. And this affinity is very, very strong, and so the protein remains on the beads, and so the protein itself can remain on the nanobody attached to the beads for a very long time, and even with very, very harsh conditions. Lastly, as I mentioned earlier, there is a single band that is in your analysis because you don't have to worry about the heavy chain and light chain like you do here at 25 and 50. All you see is your target protein. So we have quite a great Nano-Trap portfolio at the moment. We have a variety of fluorescent tags here, some solubilization tags like GST, some popular peptide epitope tags like MYC and V5, as well as a few oncology proteins. So to summarize here, GFP trap, you just have to lyse, incubate, and wash and elute, and the process takes less than 2 hours. However, for a conventional antibody, this can take more than 3 hours and even a couple of days. And so what this means is use these nanotraps, and you'll be just like this guy out here enjoying the day with all the extra time that you have. Lastly, I'd like to just talk a little bit more about Chromotech. So Chromotech specializes in nanobody-based reagents for elevated performance. They specialize in immunoprecipitation and affinity purification of proteins, antibody capture, immunofluorescence, super-resolution microscopy reagents, and reagents for live cell imaging. The website is shown here. It was founded in 2008 as a spin-off from Ludwig Maximilian at the University of Munich, Germany, using a proprietary technology in order to develop the nanobodies. And they've had over 20,000 customers in 50 countries, and there are more than 2,600 citations of the nanotraps within the academic literature. And so with that, I want to thank you, and you can order online at ptglab.com or chromotech.com, and I hope that you have more time to do what you want with your time.